Brawl Stars is getting a massive update in the next couple of weeks. Instead of adding Power 12 to the game, they're giving us something called Buffies. They buff your character and they're cute and adorable. This is going to add another level of progression and power to each of our brawlers in Brawl Stars. And on top of buffing brawlers with Buffies, they're also going to be buffing the free-to-play and the pay-to-play resources that we get every single season. So we have a ton to talk about. I highly recommend watching this entire video. I would normally recommend you watch all of my videos, but there are a lot of interconnecting systems with this. And if you only understand one part of it, it might be a little bit confusing and you might feel like you're missing something. Keep in mind that everything I'm talking about is in development still and is subject to change before the actual update is released. Most of the things should stay the same, but you know, Brawl Stars developers, they might make some changes and stuff. So let's get into this. That's right. Brawl Stars is not adding Power 12 inside Brawl Stars. Every single brawler inside the game now has a hypercharge, which means, well, what's next? It's not Power 12, which is awesome. Honestly, I'm so excited about the way that Brawl Stars is handling this, especially after all of the drama that's been going on with Clash Royale, which is a topic for a whole other video. And let me know if you want me to share my thoughts on Clash Royale stuff. But instead of Power 12, we're getting something called Buffies. Now, Buffies are going to buff either your star power, your gadgets, or your hypercharge for your brawler. Here's the thing though, you can equip all three onto your brawler. So they are getting 3 big buffs if you have all of the Buffies for that brawler. Now, each brawler is going to be getting 3 Buffies. One will impact both of your star powers. So the star power one will impact both of them. Your gadget Buffy for that brawler will impact both of the gadgets for that brawler. And then you will have a third one, a hypercharge Buffy. Now, how this is going to work out is that with these new powers, some brawlers are going to be getting reworks to their designs and their abilities with the addition of Buffies. Now, Buffies are going to be purchasable with 1,000 coins and 2,000 power points from a claw machine. Yes, you have to spend 1,000 coins and 2,000 power points, and that is for each Buffy released into the game. Additionally, this is going to be happening with a claw machine. This is essentially like a gacha mechanic where the claw comes down and it pulls up a Buffy and it comes out and it gives you a Buffy, right? And once you unlock this feature, you will get 1 free pull from one of these claw machines. Again, stick around because I'm going to be covering this more in depth, but let's continue on here. Epic and Mythic gears are actually going to be removed and refunded from the game, which is awesome. But rather than just remove all of them from the game, they're just going to do it one at a time as those brawlers get Buffies. So like Crow has a Mythic gear. Once Crow gets his Buffy, they will remove the Mythic gear. They will refund anybody who purchased it with the coins that it costs to purchase that Mythic gear. And then you can then use those coins to either upgrade your brawlers or purchase Buffies for Crow or other brawlers, right? And I really want to give props to the developer team for doing this. I don't know if I should be saying this, but Brawl Stars actually gave me early info on Buffies like maybe a couple weeks ago. And one of my biggest pieces of feedback was like, okay, you're adding this new thing into the game, but you're completely leaving something like that has just been broken and makes 0 sense. You kind of have to pick up the mess before you actually like add new stuff. And my suggestion to them was just get rid of Epic and Mythic gears. They kind of suck. You're not going to develop any more for any of the other brawlers anyway. And it's weird that only a few brawlers actually have them. And in a perfect world, every brawler would have an Epic and a Mythic gear and it would be cool. But honestly, gears just kind of suck. They're not great. They didn't hit like they were supposed to. So just remove them from the game and refund the players. And that's exactly what the Brawl Stars team is doing. I love that. It's almost as if they care about their players. Clash Royale. Oh, sorry. I must be allergic to Clash Royale. Now, what's really crazy about this is that when you get a gadget Buffy, those gadgets, my understanding, are now going to be aimable. You will be able to just like regularly tap your gadget if you want to, but you will have the option of aiming those gadgets for different effects or something. I don't know. We'll go over a couple of examples of Buffies later in this video. Now, you might be wondering, why is Brawl Stars even doing this in the first place, other than the fact that it sounds fun? Well, they want to increase the amount of depth in the gameplay without making it too complicated. So in other words, they're not adding more buttons, thankfully, but that means that also veteran players are going to experience a more like deep variety gameplay, and casuals still get to play kind of like how they used to and not really be impacted by Buffies too much, especially because they're kind of expensive to purchase. 1,000 coins, 2,000 power points, which we will talk about that price point a little bit later on in this video because I do have thoughts, and my thoughts might actually surprise you. It's a claw machine. It's essentially a gacha banner. We'll talk about that later. Let's keep going. Another really exciting thing about these Buffies is that it's going to allow them to revisit earlier released brawlers. Like, think about the last time Shelly got a change. Oh, actually, she got a buff to one of her gadgets recently. Anyway, that's not the point. The thing is that this is an opportunity for Brawl Stars to look at every single Brawler's kit and kind of adapt them and change them in a way. Brawl Stars is a very different game than it used to be, especially like when Shelly was first released. Like, there were only 18 or 19 brawlers in the game, and now there are way more like assassins and stuff like that that impact so many different aspects of the game. There's quite a bit of power creep happening in the game, and this is going to allow them to make every brawler feel a little bit more refreshed, and I'm really excited about that. The other reason for this is that they're going to be adding more progression into the game. And yes, that means that if you have a maxed out account, your account's no longer going to be maxed out until you purchase or unlock the new Buffies. I actually really like the way that they're doing this as opposed to how other Supercell games, Clash Royale, just randomly artificially inflate the power level without giving you any more fun. Buffies, they sound really fun, and they actually give you value instead of just adding stat buffs like a power 12 would have. And I really like that. Okay, now let's talk about the claw machine. So the claw machine is where you're going to be able to get your Buffies. Each one of them is going to cost 1,000 coins and 2,000 power points. And when you spend that, then you use the claw machine and it will randomly select one of the Buffies for you. Now, historically in Brawl Stars' economy, 1 power point is the equivalent of 2 coins. However, they have changed that, and they're going to make it so that the cost to purchase power points is exactly the same as the cost to purchase coins. So it's no longer 2 power points for every 1 coin. It is now 1 power point for 1 coin. So the cost of 1 Buffy is not essentially the rough equivalent of 5,000 total coins, because the 2,000 power points does not equal 4,000 coins. I know anybody but the math nerds out there are like, what are you talking about, Kairos? Each Buffy now is instead going to essentially cost the rough equivalent of 3,000 coins worth of gems, because you can buy 1,000 or 2,000 power points now with the same amount of gems that you could purchase 2,000 coins with. I know the law of Brawl Stars economists out there are going to be like, wait, but power points have always been the same value of coins. And yes, you're right, but the systems have changed so much that you can't convert power points to coins anymore. So it's weird, but 1 Buffy is roughly the equivalent of 3,000 coins. So it's actually less expensive than a hypercharge, but you can get 3 of them for every single brawler. So it's kind of like 9,000 coins worth of progression added to every single brawler. That's expensive. That's a lot. But the fact that it's going to change 3 aspects of your brawlers, their gadget, their hypercharge, and their star powers, I mean, I think that sounds okay. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. A very important key point here is that each claw machine will contain Buffies from a certain limited number of brawlers. So currently the plan is for them to release 6 sets of Buffies in an update, or at least in the next upcoming update. That means 18 total Buffies, because for each of the 6 brawlers, you get a hypercharge Buffy, a gadget Buffy, and a star power Buffy. Now, I know that a lot of people are not big fans of RNG. There is one, and honestly, I don't love RNG either. Like, just let me buy the Buffy that I want, just like you can with hypercharges. You can just spend the coins to buy the specific hypercharge that you want. But one of the big pieces of feedback that I actually gave the Supercell team when they first told me about this was that it was way too expensive. You think 1,000 coins and 2,000 power points is really expensive? That is actually significantly better than what they originally told me. And massive props to the developer team. They were able to find some really creative ways to decrease the costs for each individual Buffy. Now, I'm not trying to say that like RNG is the way to go or anything like that, but one of the ways that they are able to reduce the cost for these Buffies is by adding RNG into that. Because rather than you just being able to max out the specific brawler that you want to, you have to upgrade all 6 of them essentially at the same time. Whether or not you like that is a completely other topic for debate, and I completely understand people not liking RNG. I get that. But here's the good news, is that each claw machine contains Buffies from 6 brawlers. And so what that means is that if there's a specific brawler that you want to max out, all you have to do is keep on pulling from that same claw machine, because eventually you will get the abilities that you want for the specific brawler that you want. It might take all 18 pulls and you would have to get all of the Buffies for all 6 of the brawlers in that claw machine. But my understanding is that there's not going to be like a duplicate mechanic or anything like that. Once you pull it from the claw machine, it's gone from the claw machine, and you will only be able to pull new Buffies from each claw machine. Honestly, I've played a lot of gacha games, and that's a pretty fantastic mechanic. I actually really like that, even though it means you might get Buffies for brawlers that you're not particularly wanting at any given moment, because eventually you'll be able to max out the brawler that you want, and eventually you'll be able to max out all of your brawlers. And as they add new Buffies into the game, they're going to be adding them in new claws, or claw machines. In other words, the first claw machine will contain Buffies from 6 brawlers, and then the second claw machine will contain Buffies from the second set of 6 brawlers. And as a little bit of added bonus here, once you collect all the Buffies for all of the brawlers in the claw machine, you're then going to be able to use bling to pull Buffy skins for those brawlers. Those are purely cosmetic. They have no impact on Buffy's functionality or anything like that. They're just cute. And each bling pull from the claw machine costs 10,000 bling. Now, I want to mention a couple of notes that they actually mentioned in the blog post about this. Now, you might be wondering, why are they adding Buffies that are just going to change your gadget or change your star power or change your hypercharge instead of adding something new like hypercharges were to the game, right? Or gears were to the game. Well, first of all, they want to work on rebalancing all the brawlers. They want to add more depth to competitive matches, but they don't want to make it too complicated for most of the brawlers just for the sake of complexity, right? And they said that improving something you already know is a lot easier to understand and get used to, is instead of adding a completely new power or something like that, especially if that new power comes with a brand new button, which is what like hypercharges were, right? The idea here is that the competitive hardcore players are able to add a new level of depth to the game in every match, while casual players just kind of experience something new without having to learn something entirely new or change their way of playing the game. And honestly, I really feel that, and I'm excited about that. I love that they're adding something that's going to refresh basically every brawler's gadget, star power, and hypercharge, especially now that we're getting to the point where we almost have 100 brawlers in the game. Yeah, I think it makes sense for them to refresh a lot of the old brawlers. They also said that they want to focus on more utility and player skill instead of like raw strength, which is what hypercharges were, right? You press a button, boom, you're super strong. Now it's going to add a lot more variety to the way that you use different abilities and stuff like that. They did say that some Buffies will make your abilities just bigger and stronger, but that shouldn't be the case for all of them, which I like. And yeah, they are making gadgets an aimable joystick. They said if it makes sense for the gadget in question. I don't know if that will be every gadget, but that's pretty interesting. And that sounds like it might be something small, but I think that's going to have a massive impact on the skill ceiling in Brawl Stars. I'm so excited. Now with Buffies, that increases the cost to max out your account, right? But they're also buffing your total progression. I'm just getting a lot of this information, so I don't know if it's going to increase or decrease your time to max. My guess, though, is that if you already have a maxed out account, you're probably going to be able to max out your Buffies as they are released. We'll see though. Anyway, let's talk about Colt's and Spike's Buffies. I wish I had some images to show you or like some gameplay or something like that, but I will be doing an update sneak peek in the future where I go over all 16 or 18 of the Buffies that are going to be released into the game. Now, it looks like they're actually going to change Colt's first gadget. So now it's going to shoot 2 bullets that slow that target on hit rather than reloading your ammo. But now with the Buffy, if those 2 bullets hit, it's going to steal an ammo from the target. So that means that your target actually loses an ammo, and Colt reloads an ammo. Colt's second gadget is a bullet that destroys walls and bushes and consumes an ammo. This is exactly how it's always been. But now, if he gets a Buffy, that bullet is now wider and deals more damage on a hit. Now for his star power Buffy, if you get 1 star power Buffy, just like the gadget, it's going to impact both of Colt's star powers. You don't need 2 star power Buffies and 2 star power or gadget Buffies. You just need 1 of each to impact all of his abilities. Currently, his first star power increases Colt's movement speed. That has not changed, but with a Buffy, he's now going to gain a burst in movement if he hits his target, which is going to make it easier for him to continue hitting the targets. His second star power currently increases Colt's range and his bullet speed, but with his star power Buffy, he's going to deal more damage if the target is far away, similar to what happens with Piper's attacks. Now for Colt's hypercharge, normally it doubles the amount of bullets on his super. That's not changing, but with his Buffy, Colt unloads his main attack faster, so it's easier for him to hit his shots, and the hypercharge lasts for 2 seconds longer. Now you'll notice a very big difference here. Hypercharges impact supers, right? And this might change in the future, but my understanding is that hypercharge Buffies make your attacks change while you're hypercharged. So that way you get your super and your attack change while hypercharged if you have your hypercharge and your hypercharged Buffy. This is going to be fun to talk about. Now let's talk about Spike's Buffies. Now currently Spike's first gadget will fire 2 waves of needles, right? But with his gadget Buffy, it's now going to root for a short while if it hits a target. So targets are going to be stuck onto the ground if they get hit by it. Oh my gosh. Okay, now his second gadget, he drops a cactus that heals the surrounding area if it is destroyed. And with his gadget Buffy, that gadget is now going to also explode when the cactus is destroyed and knock back and deal damage to enemies around it. Now for Spike's normal star power, it's getting reworked, okay? It's going to make it so that any damage caused by Spike's super will automatically heal Spike. He doesn't need to be inside of the super to heal anymore. That is base without the Buffy. Then when you add the Buffy, Spike's super will get deployed faster. So it's going to land faster and be more likely to actually hit enemies. For his second star power, the needles of Spike's attack curve and rotate. And with the Buffy, the needles curve even further. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be busted. They said they wanted to add more skill and skill expression with Buffies, and then they just made it so that his attacks are even easier to hit. Okay, well, anyway, we'll have to see. Now for Spike's hypercharge, his super is now bigger. That's pretty much it. But with his hypercharged Buffy, it's going to make his main attacks explode twice while he's hypercharged, and his hypercharged state is going to last 2 seconds longer. And honestly, I don't know. I feel excited about this. This is pretty hype. I love that we are getting something new added to the game that's going to change every single brawler in the game. I think that's so cool. Yeah, we could talk about RNG and pulling from a gacha, and we can also talk about the cost of them. But I mean, you just can't deny the fact that it's better than just getting power 12 would have been, right? Oh man, all the people playing Clash Royale should play Brawl Stars now. Anyway, I have a couple of issues with the way that hypercharges were released. One of my biggest issues with hypercharges was the fact that we only got 6 each update. And so it took essentially 2 years for us to get a hypercharge for every single brawler in the game. And they are going to start with 6 brawlers getting their Buffies each update, which now that we have more brawlers in the game, that means it's going to take roughly 3 years for every single brawler to get their Buffies. And they also said in the blog post that they might release Buffies for less than 6 brawlers in an update. So that 3 years might turn into 4 years. And I don't love that, and honestly, that was one of my biggest pieces of feedback to them. However, each brawler gets 3 Buffies. So that's essentially 3 times the amount of development than we got with hypercharges. So I don't know. My other big issue with the way hypercharges were released was the fact that they released super strong, just broken hypercharges and took way too long to nerf them. Another piece of feedback that I gave to them was that if they're going to continue with this Buffy system, then I really hope that they do mid-season balance changes or balance changes like once a month. They can do like a major update with balance changes and then just have like a quick, like, let's just tone down the really broken OP Buffies, because if they just have a chokehold on the meta for a super long time like hypercharges did, that's going to be really obnoxious, and I'm not looking forward to that. But if they can balance them fairly frequently so that they aren't too strong for too long, honestly, I like that. I like that. Okay, new progression means we need more resources. So let's talk about buffs to the Brawl Pass. Both the free pass and the paid track in the Brawl Pass and the Brawl Pass Plus is going to be buffed and improved. So we're getting more coins. We're getting more power points, potentially, which I'll talk about that. Well, it depends because of keys, which we'll talk about keys. Keys are a way to unlock resources. As the Brawl Pass is increasing in value, they are also increasing the price, the paid side. To be clear, the free side is getting a buff and progression along with the paid side. But it's interesting here, they're going to be increasing the cost of the new Brawl Pass, the paid side, and the Brawl Pass Plus. So the Brawl Pass is going up to, they say $8.99, $9 US dollars, and the Brawl Pass Plus is going to $12.99, $13 US dollars, right? Now, I have not like hyper analyzed all the resources yet. I don't know if increasing the price is actually super justified, although honestly, based off of inflation just the last couple of years, I feel like it is, even without adding resources. That is not me trying to justify the developers doing it. It's just like everything's more expensive than it was when the Brawl Pass got buffed 2 years ago, right? I don't know. Anyway, they're going to cost more, but they're going to give more value too. And on top of adding just more progression and resources, they're also giving you more choice by giving you keys, which keys are going to allow you to open specific vaults, which will allow you to pick the reward that you want. Currently, there's going to be 4 keys into the game, each one opening a vault with a specific set of rewards. So there are resource keys, which can be used to choose between 2,000 coins, 2,000 power points, or 5,000 bling. And the free side of the Brawl Pass will contain one of these keys. So you'll be able to choose coins or power points depending on what you need more. And I love that because every single player is in a different point in progression. Sometimes you need more power points, sometimes you need more keys. And when you buy Buffies, you need both power points and coins. So I really like that a lot. New brawler keys will allow you to purchase any brawler that you want. However, the rarity of the brawler is going to determine how many keys you have to spend to unlock them. 1 brawler key will unlock an epic brawler. 2 will unlock a mythic brawler of your choice. 4 keys will unlock a legendary brawler of your choice, and 6 keys will unlock an ultra legendary brawler of your choice. There are also going to be skin set keys. Now this is interesting. This is just going to be on the paid side of the pass. Oh, and also new brawler keys are also on the paid side of the pass as well. But with the skin set key, what it allows you to do is purchase Brawl Pass skins either for the current season or an old season. If you have 1 skin set key, then you can purchase the new Brawl Pass skin and the 2 chromas variations. And if you have 2 skin set keys, you will be able to purchase an old Brawl Pass skin plus their 2 chromas. So this is really interesting because now on the paid side of the Brawl Pass, you are able to get 1 key. And so previously you had to have the Brawl Pass Plus in order to get the skin, the chromas, the 2 color chromas, right? But now you don't need to, you just need 1 of the keys. But if you buy the Brawl Pass Plus, you get 2 keys, which means that you will be able to either purchase the new Brawl Pass skin plus 2 chromas and then save 1 of the keys for a future Brawl Pass, or you can spend those keys to unlock an old Brawl Pass skin plus 2 chromas, and I believe of your choice, which is really cool. There are also going to be Buffy keys, which you can use to purchase a specific Buffy of your choice. However, the only key that is available for the free side of the pass are the resource keys, just 1 resource key. And it looks like the paid pass will actually have a skin set key and a new brawler key, but they will not have a Buffy key. You will have to instead purchase the Brawl Pass Plus if you want to get a Buffy key. Now, Brawl Stars did include some before and after information for the free track and the Brawl Pass and the Brawl Pass Plus track, and you can grab a screenshot of that right here if you would like to. But the key thing that I want to point out here is that the free track is actually going to be coming with 17% more coins, just regular coins, plus you get a resource key that you get to choose either 2,000 coins or 2,000 power points. So let's just say you go for coins, that is 35% more free coins every single update, which is pretty high. Additionally, they're going to be giving an insane amount of new additional credits. Looks like 69% more credits, which is awesome. And you're going to be getting 2 free mega boxes now, which did not happen, along with 6 new chaos drops. That is a brand new star drop coming to the game, which is roughly 4 times better than a regular star drop on average. Now, there are a couple of other changes, namely the tail rewards that, you would get 1,600 XP to get 1 regular star drop. The cost of those tail rewards is increasing to 2,800 XP, but now instead of giving you just a regular star drop, they're going to be giving you different boxes or star drops that are always better than a normal star drop. So that means that we're getting even more progression just from the tail end rewards, or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of nuances and stuff, and I have not done a deep dive on all of the numbers. And I believe that the time to max out an account for free is generally increasing. That's my understanding, at least. But everything that I'm seeing, I actually really like a lot, with the exception of the RNG of the gacha, right? That's the one thing that I'm like, nah, this is annoying and obnoxious. But I mean, my goal is to max out every brawler anyway. So I'm going to unlock all of the gachas anyway. So, or not gachas, I mean Buffies. It's such a cute name, Buffies. I just love it so much. This is very important here, okay? The price change is going to happen starting in the January season, but you can still purchase the Brawl Pass and the Brawl Pass Plus at the Supercell store for the current price and store some of them in your account. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some Black Friday specials happening. So if you know you are going to be playing Brawl Stars for like the next year, now is the time for you to stock up on Brawl Passes. I believe that you can purchase, I think you can have 6 saved, maybe 10. I don't remember the exact number, but now's the time to save. But only if you know you are going to be playing for the next year, or you don't have to do it for the full year. You can purchase 1 or 2 Brawl Passes. You don't have to max it out and buy 10 of them. But if you do, make sure you use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. I would really appreciate that. Now, they're adding a new kind of star drop called Chaos Drops, and this sounds interesting. Now, Chaos Drops are kind of like regular star drops. They increase in rarity like regular star drops do, and they have the same rarity, except the lowest rarity is super rare, and the highest rarity is ultra, which is higher than legendary. But on top of upgrading, they can also split like sushi rolls do. So there is a world where you are able to unlock a Chaos Drop that gives you 8 Ultra Star Drops. That is possible, and that sounds absurd and insane. They actually gave us the drop rates for all of these. These are subject to change, but the 2 big things that I really care about is roughly a 25% chance of giving you a random hypercharge and roughly a 25% chance of getting a Buffy, which means that there's almost a 50% chance of you getting really good progression. And the alternative is you get, looks like almost 25% chance of getting a mythic brawler, and then a 10% chance to get a legendary brawler, and a 0.4% chance to get an ultra legendary brawler. Okay. Oh, these are actually really hype. Let's see here. 15.2% chance of you getting a skin, which means an 84% chance of you getting progression, unless you have every single brawler unlocked, and then the fallback reward would be credits, and almost a 50% chance of you getting random hypercharge or Buffy. That is good progression. Chaos drops sound insane. I mean, I know that the chance of you getting 8 ultra drops from a chaos drop is unlikely, but the fact that it's possibility is crazy. Now, there's also going to be a chance for you to get chaos drops in December and January, and then probably even more frequently. Oh, they're going to be adding 2 more mega quests each season, and one of them is going to be an Omega quest. That's actually huge because that means you're going to have more tail rewards if you complete the whole season, and Trophy Road is going to get a buff to progression up to 25,000 trophies for new players so they can kind of catch up a little bit better. Yeah, I know us long-term veteran players are going to miss out on that, but that's fine. But they're also going to be doing events and community events to give some more resources like they have been doing. So they're buffing free-to-play progression on the Brawl Pass. They're adding more quests to the game in the form of mega quests and omega quests every single season that you can count on that happening. They're buffing the tail rewards to give you more progression, even though they are more expensive. I think it's overall more progression based off of the way that they're phrasing this. And they're adding more resources to daily wins. These are all guaranteed. And on top of that, they're also adding chaos drops. So overall, that's like, I mean, I don't know if this is 5 buffs really, but it sounds good. I don't know if it's going to be enough to counteract the balance or the cost for all the Buffies. But one thing that I absolutely do love about Buffies is that they add value to the game. They make the game more interesting. They make your brawlers feel more unique and special. They aren't just a power 12 or in Clash Royale's world, power 6 or level 16. They're actually going to change the game. And I think for the better, if they can keep them balanced. Oh, that's my one thing. Now, I mentioned earlier in this video, the Supercell or the Brawl Stars team actually reached out to me and some other trusted creators to go over these Buffies with and see what we thought about them. And we have given them feedback. And they have applied that feedback even before you guys got to see them. They made Buffies cheaper, more affordable. They're still expensive, but they're way less expensive than they were going to be. They're also removing epic and mythic gears and refunding the costs because it's the right thing to do instead of leaving it unpolished and in the game. And yes, Buffies are going to be gacha and a little bit of RNG, but it does have a good pity that means that you're guaranteed to get the Buffies that you want for your brawlers as long as you're willing to pull from the gacha machine 18 times. This is pretty hype, in my opinion. I want to know what you guys think though. You're hearing all about all of this for the very first time, and I've had a couple of weeks to really process them. So please let me know in the comment section below whether you think this is a win or you think that this is an L. Yeah, that's the opposite of win. I know that sounds silly. I was thinking of a W or an L. and whatever, it doesn't matter. I really want to know what you guys think about this. So please let me know in the comment section below. I'm optimistic about this. I do want to get my hands on it before I give like my 100% honest review, meaning like I want to play it. I want it to release. I want to experience it. And then maybe we'll see if we need to give the team a little bit more feedback. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good. So yeah, that's Buffies. Make sure you subscribe for a future video where I will be able to go over all of the 18 Buffies coming in the next update. We'll see you guys in the next video.